do, which I think they are. Yep, I think we're good with YouTube as well. All right. I hope everybody's doing well. For those of you who may be watching for the first time, my name is Niko House, and I am the host of the political radio show Mikasa Sukasa. And I have been on a little sabbatical from work because, well, I didn't want to stress myself out because I was getting stressed. And I needed the vacation. I just got, switched jobs and at least full-time jobs anyway. Been doing some crazy planning for the show. As you can see, setup's a lot different. Like I've said, you're going to be getting a lot more content from me a lot more regularly. And also, we're going to have different types of content, skits and different formats. Hopefully, I want to start hosting some debates, some progressive debates with other progressives being the judge. Because the whole Democrat versus Republican thing or progressive versus conservative debate, that just never... The progressive take the progressive side, the conservative take the conservative side, and they just saw, nobody really learned that much from it. But it's been a hell of a couple of weeks. A lot has taken place. A lot has happened in politics and social world. Some good, some bad, some kind of like this, which is like, I hate to say I told you so. And I'm going to get into that, exactly what I mean by that in a second. But thank you all so much for watching if this is your first time. I hope that you like the page if you're on Facebook, or if you are on YouTube watching, I hope that you subscribe. Like I said, we're going to have a good time. We always do. It's going to be a hell of a year in 2018. That I can absolutely guarantee. With the elections coming up, some people are going to get exposed. I'm absolutely sure. We've already seen a major, some big exposures. Just Democrats and Jank, or mostly Jank. I don't know if y'all saw my video regarding that, by the way, but I actually was very proud of the Justice Democrats and how quick they reacted. And I actually commended Jank on the way he handled it. He knew he was wrong, and people were like, well, people change, and I agree with you. I think people do change. However, part of change is also taking responsibility and accountability for your actions. And Jank, he was never held accountable for him using his platform or his potential platform going forward for trying to denigrate women. And I think that's important for us to remember that when we're talking about whether or not he, should or should not have been let go. Because I said him being held accountable is a good right step. It's good for Justice Democrats because it allows them to show that they are going to be fierce when it comes to progression, and they're going to have zero tolerance when it comes to any type of bigotry, which I'm all for. But also, it doesn't mean that Jank will never have an opportunity to step back into that to a political role. But he did need to be held accountable so that he could finally move on. If anything, it was better for him for this to come out now than later on with something that could have led to a huge lawsuit or something to that extent, right? Because any of these women, if they would have found out that this was about, that blog was about them or whatever, it could have been a much bigger deal leading on, or going forward. So yeah. But now that we have everybody here, I want to talk to you today about the topic that caught my attention about Clinton supporters donating $700,000 to help Trump accusers. It's really weird. And at first when I read it, I was thinking like, oh, maybe it was an effort to try and get them representation so they could be represented fairly, because they were already planning on coming out, but they didn't know who to talk to and no one to do it pro bono. I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt because that I am not for the victim blaming. And Trump is no angel. So I legitimately came into the article trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. And then I saw one name that stood out to me immediately. Lisa Bloom. Now, for those of you who may think her name sounds familiar, or for those of you who do not know who Lisa Bloom is, This is the same woman who is supposedly an advocate for women's rights. She's always in the court fighting sexual harassment cases, getting no settlements for her clients. The same woman who fought avidly against Bill Clinton and got her ass handed to her because a simpleton could figure out that there was no logical connection, between the stories that these women were saying and their actual experience with Bill Clinton, based off of Bill Cosby, based off of the eyewitness accounts in his accounts, and there was no proof otherwise. So this is the woman who lambasted Bill Clinton, but the same woman, in more recent memory, the same woman who said that Harvey Weinstein is just an old dinosaur and that we should just move on and forgive him, and he's gonna go to his little rehab center in Europe, probably beautiful place, okay, and he'll come back a refurbished and changed man. This is that same Lisa Bloom. So clearly, hypocrite extraordinaire. I think that's pretty much the moral of the story with Lisa Bloom. She is full of shit, to put it nicely, okay? So when I opened the article, I saw her picture and I saw her name. I said, oh yeah, all that whole benefit of the doubt argument went straight out the window. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be juicy. Let me go ahead and start diving into this. So here is what is being claimed. So prominent Democratic donors gave, by the way, this is in The Hill, but prominent Democratic donors gave at least $700,000 to women's rights lawyer, women's convenience. Lisa Bloom is the reason that there are so many men against feminism, by the way. Like, she is killing the feminist movement. Like, people like her. But anyway, women's rights lawyer Lisa Bloom in the final stretch of the 2016 race. Oh, how convenient. That's so convenient. As she sought to publicize the sexual misconduct allegations against Donald Trump, according to the New York Times. American Bridge, a group associated with the Democratic operative Hillary Clinton ally David Brock. Wow! What a coincidence. David Brock's name turns up again when some money kind of ends up being floated somewhere. And by the way, American Bridge PAC, he's not associated with it. He started it. He was the one who gave the money to Lisa Bloom. So American Bridge, a group associated with Democratic operative and Hillary Clinton ally David Brock, gave $200,000 to the effort, sources told the New York Times. Fashion entrepreneur Susie Tompkins Boyle, a longtime donor to Brock, gave Bloom another $500,000. The efforts did not result in any women coming forward, however, which is why we are always trying to figure out why haven't these women come forward? Once again, now I am not saying that Donald Trump is not a sexual assaulter or a rapist, harasser. There's a very good probability that he is all of these things. So let me be very clear about that. This man walks around talking about grabbing women by the pussy. He's clearly not an angel, like I've said before. But like I said, it's convenient how whenever a bunch of people are said to come out all at once with one particular person, just how I felt about it with Bill Cosby, there's a red flag there. There was a red flag because all of these women, the majority of Bill Cosby's accusers being white women, are trying to convince me that in the 60s, they were uncomfortable with accusing a black man of rape. I don't know if there's a Dave Chappelle skit on that, but there should be, because there's no way in hell that I'm going to believe that in the 60s, white women were scared to accuse a black man of rape. I'm sorry, I'm not going to believe that. Like, it's just not reality. That's not reality. So just like I was suspicious at that point, because just how all of their stories all matched up as far as exactly how it went down with Bill Cosby, was kind of the same situation with Donald Trump. I believe that there truly are victims that, just like with Bill Cosby, I truly believe that there actually are victims, maybe not necessarily of rape, but absolutely of sexual assault and sexual harassment. I do believe that. But when a bunch of people randomly come out at once and there's a lot of money at play and someone's reputation or business or political office on the line, like with Bill Cosby and the whole CBS or the NBC, it was CBS or NBC situation where he was trying to buy them, and all of a sudden all these allegations start coming out. Same thing with Trump, obviously running against Hillary Clinton, who literally made a career out of being a victim in the last couple of years, and ta-da! All of a sudden all these people come out, and so I have to kind of be weary of that, and this is exactly why. So the efforts did not result in any women coming forward, according to the Times, but Bloom told the paper that one woman requested as much as $2 million for her story, a sum that she was unwilling to offer. Now, if you requested $2 million for your story for sexual assault allegation, probably didn't really happen, because this is the same thing that happens to celebrities regularly. And any celebrity will tell you, rapper, singer, talk show host, it is cheaper usually to pay that person who is going to lie and defame, and just defame your name. Like, it's cheaper to just pay them, because it's extremely hard to get your credibility back, and it's extremely hard to rebuild your brand. So oftentimes people would just throw some numbers out there and they'll get settlements for them. Seriously, this is a really regular thing. Look it up. But if obviously Lisa Bloom was not going to pay this woman $200 million, she's like, that's not $700,000. That's a little bit over the bank account minimum that I was allowed to pay y'all off with to come forward. By the way, Donald Trump has run for president before, and there were no sexual assault allegations that came forward. And also, he was like never in the newspaper, like to the extent, obviously he's running for president, but he was still Donald damn Trump before. And all of a sudden, it's just, I automatically assume men with that much power, with the legacy of Donald Trump, did something like that. Is it wrong? Probably. I don't care. But it's reality. The odds are they have committed some type of sexual harassment or sexual assault. The odds show. So, like I said, because of that fact, though, I automatically assume most times ulterior motives when a bunch of people just start coming out at once, like what we're seeing right here, especially when they ask for $2 million. So in the statement, however, Bloom denied that the Clinton campaign had any knowledge of her efforts or that she collaborated with Clinton's team on quote unquote any of this. Y'all, I'm going to rewind that back for you real quick. In the statement, Lisa Bloom, denied that the Clinton campaign, the same Clinton campaign that David Brock works for, had any knowledge of her efforts or that she had collaborated with Clinton's team. David Brock, literally like the captain of Clinton's team, maybe co-captain right beside John Podesta. No knowledge that they collaborated, right? Clinton campaign, David Brock literally works for the Clinton campaign. Literally works for them. And Clinton's campaign had no idea what was going on. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what pisses me off about the left and liberals and the establishment and the Hillary Clinton neoliberal-esque camp in general. They take these very serious experiences, these very serious allegations and accusations, and try to make a political profit off of it. So now that asshole, on YouTube, on Facebook, at the bar, yeah, but what about all those times all those women faked like they were raped to make money? What about all those times women faked like they were assaulted, for political gain? They're going to point to things like this. And it's very hard to have a conversation saying, yeah, but not every situation is like that. But they're going to say enough of them is like that because these are the situations that get blown up in the media. The real cases, oftentimes, unfortunately, are largely ignored. Hell, the only reason that the whole Brock situation, not David Brock, but Brock Turner situation got blown up was because this dude literally raped an unconscious body and he was on the way to Ivy League school and he got off. And I'm not a fan of Sean King, but Sean King helped to create exposure for that story. So that's the only reason that story ever got off the ground. But do you know how many times that happens in college? Trust me, I went into one of the most fraternity-ridden colleges in the country. It happens more often than you think. But because of stories like this, because of situations like this, it denigrates those experiences in the eyes of people who are looking for reasons to believe that sexual assault is not as prominent in this community, or in our community, or around the world, really, as it actually is. And I've said it before and I said it again. Lisa Bloom is a fraud. She's not a feminist. She's not an activist. She's a profiteer. The same woman who lambasted Bill Cosby defended Harvey Weinstein, was actually his chief advisor during the entire incident of, everything that he did. Like Hillary Clinton, the same woman who is so upset about Trump talking about grabbing someone by the pussy, literally laughed as she pretty much admitted to tampering with evidence in order to get a rapist off from raping a little girl. She laughed about it. This is the same woman who at the same time pays her people, her females in the Clinton Foundation less than the men. And there's no legitimate justification for that at all whatsoever. If you work in a warehouse, okay, maybe men are carrying more depending on their job. You can come up with any bullshit excuse you want. It's still not legitimate, but it's still, you can come with a legitimate excuse in that scenario where physicality may be a reason for giving someone more money. But in the Clinton Foundation, you just got to be corrupt. It doesn't matter if you have a penis or a vagina. What the hell does that got to do with anything? If you're corrupt, you're corrupt. We can use you either way. But this is the woman who called Bernie Sanders sexist. But Bernie paid his staff equally, I know. It was not based off of whether they were women or if they were men. It was based off of experience. But this is also the man who had a history of fighting for women's rights out in the open. Not, fake, acting like he actually has pictures with the black community when he was chained to a black woman. He talks about this constantly. He doesn't just throw out some BS random statistics that sound good in a 140 character tweet. He talks about this in great detail, and this has been his conversation since the moment I've seen him in person, and obviously well before that. I didn't know what the hell Hillary Clinton stood for before. I mean, I knew that she stood for money, and I knew she bragged about being Bill Clinton's wife, but that's neither here nor there. But in all seriousness, these women, and I hate some people won't be mad about it. Once again, don't really care that much. This is the definition of white feminism. It is doing whatever you can as a white woman, using your unique niche in society, because white women actually do in this country specifically have a very unique niche in society where they are automatically given the benefit of the doubt. There's always a joke going around about Tina with the short hair, the white mom with the short hair going to complain with the manager because she knows every single time she's going to get what she wants from that manager. Whereas if, a person of color would do the same thing, they would just be looked at as acting ghetto. And that's reality. In a court of law, when it comes to a custody battle between a woman and a man, specifically a white woman, you are really never. And I was in the military, so I saw this, and I was a paralegal, and so I saw this way more often, and unfortunately, than I would have liked to. I saw one scenario, literally one scenario out of the hundreds that I've dealt with, where the white woman lost a child, and it was the most extreme, extenuating circumstances. Like, there was no way she was going to win custody because she was in the middle of a custody battle 2 months before she was about to go to war. That's the only reason why, and they were going to have them revisit the topic in a year or so. So that, but there are people like Hillary Clinton and Lisa Bloom who use this very unique, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and those type of women, you know exactly what I'm talking about, who use this niche to their political and financial advantage. And stories like this come out. Just like with the Bill Clinton situation. Just like with the Kobe Bryant situation. I mean, like I said, I am not the type to victim blame. But just as I am not the type to victim blame, I also am very much so in touch with reality, because it's a reality that myself, that I have to deal with, that people who look like me have to deal with, that my mom has had to deal with, where her opinion is not going to be taken as seriously as the white woman standing beside her until she proves herself. You know, this was a problem in college, a constant issue in college, that was actually talked about quite often. White feminism is a cancer because they don't want equality for everyone else. They want equality for themselves. It's like the gay community, how the white males actually don't give a shit about the minority gay people. They just want to be on top with themselves. Like that, like there's a thing in the LGBTQ community, like there's a hierarchy. Like, I'm not joking. And this is in the Latino community as well. There's a hierarchy. If you're a dark Colombian, then you're treated the same way as a black American would be treated. If you're a white Colombian with the blue eyes and the blonde hair, you're treated the same way a white American would be treated. So this is the norm. But in America specifically, it is the most dangerous because of the political power that you have really backing decisions like this. Because why else would Lisa Bloom claim to be an activist? Well, same thing with Hillary Clinton, by the way. Why would she claim to be an activist? Why would you claim to be fighting sexual assault? Why would you claim to be a representative of women, a moral representative of women who have been victims of sexual assault and sexual harassment? And then the moment you have the opportunity to show that your loyalties to money, your loyalties to power, your loyalties to position, to labels, to people like Harvey Weinstein, he embodies all of these things, that you had the moment to say, I don't give a damn about the relationship I've had with Harvey Weinstein in the past. I don't care how much we were friends. I did not know about this. And under no circumstance do I support his actions. He needs to be held accountable. Why not take that opportunity to do that if you really represent all these things? And more, like I said, even more curiously, why would you pretend to represent all of these things? Because you know that with your money, your past history, like the amount of political power and financial power that you've had, that you as a white woman could literally lie about being an activist your entire life and go totally fucking unchecked. That's why you knew. That's why you did it. We know because we've seen this pattern. Look at Hillary Clinton. Look at Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Everyone knows somebody who is doing this right now if you are involved in politics. I have seen it happen from progressives. Unintentionally at times. But specifically, I've seen intentionality in like things like what Lisa Bloom has done and what Hillary Clinton has done. They knew their entire careers they could pretend to be feminists. They could pretend to fight for equity, not actually ever have to do so, and people would behave exactly how we saw in the 2016 election. Because she had been waiting this entire moment to be able to say, Bernie Sanders is a sexist, and y'all are going to believe me. Because I have literally been preparing for this my entire political career. Yeah, I was so mistreated. I was a woman. I had to do a lot of things like, destroy Haiti in order for me to be politically accepted and advance my career. It's just hard for a woman in my position. Not even Elizabeth Warren was that bad, and she's doing pretty well for herself, I thought. If you know anything about politics, you start planning. If you are planning to have a political career, you start planning pretty damn early. And if you're coming from a political family like Hillary Clinton did, they started planning the moment that she was the president of the Young Republicans. Was she president of Young Republicans? Can't remember, but I do know damn well she was president of the damn Goldwater Club. Barry Goldwater, Mr. Reinstate Discrimination himself. switched up just like that. When she got to college, oh, I just saw the progressive light. I truly believe that there are a lot of people who switch from being conservative, or at least moderate. No, I'll say this. There are people who switch from moderate to progressive. I very, 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 very rarely, if ever, have ever seen a true blue conservative go from super conservative to super progressive. I've seen them go, however, from super conservative to moderately conservative or moderate, but never, the whole social Darwinism type of conservatism that is practiced oftentimes. When you credit it, confirmation bias, you credit everything to yourself and your abilities and all that good stuff. To doesn't matter if I'm a woman, like that type of stuff. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm a woman. If I work hard, then I'll get what I deserve. Like, they never go from that to super progressive. It never happens. And we don't have to figure out if that happened with Hillary Clinton, because we know the answer to that. She was against gay marriage until right before the election. She was anti-abortion for a long time. The same woman, once again, who started Confederate Flag Day. So that really is indicative of how long she had been planning to drop the "I'm a white woman, believe me." She used it against Obama. And that's actually, in my opinion, why she lost. This saying, okay, we understand that women are the dominant population in this country, but women aren't going to just vote for you just because you're a woman. Women, for the most part, I truly believe women have more sense than men a lot of the time when it comes to decisions like that. Some women obviously don't, but more women voted for Bernie Sanders than you think. And then there were some people who are not necessarily educated on the entire situation. And so I don't fault them for that, because unfortunately we live in a country right now that goes out of its way to keep us busy so that we don't know, who to vote for, so that we don't know our Bernie Sanders-esque candidates exist. So I don't necessarily fault them for that. But then there were the other women. There were the women who knew exactly what Hillary Clinton was, but did not care, because they saw Hillary Clinton in themselves, which is scary, because what that really means is that they are willing to do whatever they can to be at the top, to jump above people who look like me and the white guy above me. They don't give a damn about the equity. They don't care about bringing their minority sisters up with them and their minority brothers up with them, like any disenfranchised people up with them. They don't give a damn. Guess when Kamala Harris finally got that call? When she found out that she was light-skinned enough to fit the bill, to get the job done. Why do you think Cory Booker finally got that call? Because in the Democratic Party specifically, more so actually I would say than the Republican Party, because when Republicans get a minority, they have to latch on to them like, hey, don't go. Hey, look, there's only 4 of y'all in the club, but if you hang on a couple of years, I know there'll be at least one more person. Just, hey, give me a break. Keep your hair straight. Don't let it curl up. Okay? Don't let it curl up. Keep your name changed. You know that one, what? She's a senator, I think, or a house or a representative from like Punjab, and she changed her name to some white girl name. Hilarious. But that shows you the power of white women. She identifies as white. But in the Democratic Party, it's different. It's scary different. They held the whole black caucus against Bernie Sanders. The only reason that Barack Obama was allowed to run and win was because he literally was just the perfect specimen of towing the line. He's black enough, his name's Barack Obama, but he's also light-skinned enough. But he also talks white enough so that we can understand him. But he also appeals to the youth. He was literally the perfect, he was a prototype. He's like prototypical candidate. If you ever wanted, even in 2017, like, let's be real. In 2020, if we never saw Barack Obama, and Barack Obama showed his face in 2020, Barack Obama black ass will win the election. Because he is that good. And he is that smart. That is the only reason he was allowed to win. The only reason. But once again, he was even being told at that time to wait his turn. And that's as per the words of Donna Brazile. Donna Brazile has even been told at times to wait her turn. Per her words. She's even been disenfranchised by the Democratic Party because of her race and her sex. And that's pretty much how it always has been in the Democratic Party. Because if you haven't noticed, who wins elections? Those with legacy. Clinton himself did not have a legacy, but his wife definitely had a legacy. Plus, he was crazy popular. The Bushes, Reagan was a Hollywood superstar. The Kennedys. I'm not sure about Nixon. I know they're all related, but I'm not sure about his legacy. I know FDR obviously had a legacy. Woodrow Wilson, Gerald Ford kind of got lucked into his, but the people who won their elections, legacy people. Black people don't have a legacy. How the hell are we going to end up as being president? You feel me? We didn't have cousins of cousins who were dukes and lords and rich oil tycoons and union leaders and business owners, because we weren't even allowed to, we were allowed to own businesses, but it couldn't be through a loan. It had to be some like agriculture stuff. We couldn't, for the longest time, we weren't allowed to get housing loans and business loans. And we couldn't take out second mortgages to get business loans because of redlining. So like we did not have the legacy. Obama has a legacy actually, because his mom was in the CIA. That's where his mom and dad met. That's why they were in Hawaii, because they were studying Russian together. And his mom was affiliated with the CIA, and his dad was affiliated with the CIA. Which is why he was so well spoken and so studious and all that good stuff. But that's why he also struggled with his identity, because he does have that legacy that put him in that position. But minorities don't have that. We're not part of the good old boy club. So how do you get into the good old boy club? Well, let's be real. The same way that they got into the good old boy club. They kissed ass. But we're starting from the lower part of the ass cheek, if you will. And up to the back. We're like at the crack. We in the rough spot right now. Okay? So this is, like I said, just another example of that. 700,000, with 200,000 coming from David Brock, 500,000 coming from one of David Brock's biggest donors. Look, if it looked like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then god damn it, it's Daffy. Once again, this does not mean. No, sorry, I have to reiterate this part too. Lisa Bloom, she said on record, the Clinton campaign had no knowledge of these donations. David Brock people who made the donations worked for the Clinton campaign. So that is literally an outright lie. And coming from an attorney, clearly she is not a good one. She couldn't even win the Bill Cosby case, which in some people's minds was open and shut. But this woman literally it's like she says, because it's the consultant, right? It's a political corporate, it's what they do. It's how they naturally teach themselves to react. Oh, they had no knowledge. It's like when the CIA gets captured and they have to pretend like they don't exist. The United States government had no idea what my mission was. But she forgot. You can't tell the director of the CIA, the director of the CIA is like sitting beside you, right? Or like held captive with you. And then you as a CIA agent tell Russia, for example, CIA had no knowledge of what I was doing today. And we're like, but isn't that your director right there? Nah, that's not the director of the CIA. That's the director of the NCAA. Like, bro, It goes to show you, though, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to be smart to be rich. You just have to be corrupt as hell. And usually, you're not that smart because you know if you're corrupt, 99% of the time, especially in today's society, you're going to get caught. If you haven't caught on to that very consistent reality that we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. Whether it be the sexual assault allegations, whether you be a progressive dropping your pants in the office, like with what's his name? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. The guy had a staff person come in. He had his junk hanging out as she came to the office. I can't remember his name right now, but he just resigned. You know, whether you're Al Franken, whether you are Joe Biden, who is about as conservative as can be, and that will come out if he runs for office, he's going to get, like, trying to be politically expedient is going to catch up with him. Kamala Harris and her record on the drug war and her tough on crime attitude and how she's pretty much forsaken all minorities, but she's trying to be put up as a champion for minorities. That's going to come to light. So if you are smart, like I said, it doesn't take a lot to be rich now, apparently. You just got to be corrupt. You ain't got to be smart. You don't have to be intelligent. You just got to be corrupt and know the right people. But be intelligent enough to know this. You will get caught. Those donations are going to show up. Those allegations are going to come up. And you better be able to say something smarter than this than, we donated to we got a donation from the Hillary Clinton campaign, but they didn't know about it. That just makes Hillary Clinton look incompetent at that point. But here's what's even most impressive. Y'all telling me y'all got $700,000 donated to y'all to find just one accuser. Just one. Of Donald J. Trump. One accuser of Donald J. Trump. Just one. Now, given the stories that we've heard, from his mouth. We don't have to invent anything. The stories that we have heard from him. The history that we know he has with, like, Jeffrey Epstein and the Lolita Express. You couldn't find one person that could be like, you know what? I don't need the money. I just want to do this for those who may have had similar experiences and hopefully will give them the courage to come out and tell their story as well. You couldn't find one person? Lisa Bloom. Lisa's the same one I found all of these women. By the way, Lisa Bloom, the reason why I hope I keep mentioning her name because you all need to know how problematic this particular woman is and the fact that she and Harvey Weinstein are huge Democratic Party donors. But on the other side of the socialite fence, in the business and the corporate side, they are big, big, big Hollywood heads. And this woman was chosen specifically because of that. Whenever Bill Cosby attempted to buy NBC and he was being blackballed because of it, and he knew he was being blackballed and he was going to take action, and if you bring the right people on board now, like hopefully when P. Diddy buys the Panthers, and we start seeing these type of transitions, even with LeVar Ball trying to start an NBA, trying to start a professional basketball league to undercut the NCAA because it's pretty much a slave driving, it's slavery. NCAA is slavery. But when you get the right people involved, it doesn't matter how much money you have individually, it just matters the amount of influence and how many people you can get behind your cause. And luckily, thank God, black people in Hollywood have been pretty damn good at getting behind one another when it's time to do something big as of late. And when you're talking about Bill Cosby making that call, you know how long it would take him to get NBC if he really, 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 really wanted it? It'd take about 2 or 3 calls. Tyler Perry, Oprah, Dr. Dre, J-Bay, Jay-Z, Beyonce, J-Bay, and Will Smith. You get about 5 or 6 of those people, all of a sudden, buying NBC is a lot more feasible. That's about 14, 15, or $16 billion between those 5 or 6 people. And then you have, obviously, Bill Cosby's money himself. That's not even included in that. So, realizing this, they got the one person who is good at making people either just settle, because that's what most of her cases end up being. They settle for sexual assault allegations because she knows this better than anyone as an attorney. If anybody has worked in the entertainment industry or at least known someone in the entertainment industry and seen that at a high level, they know that this is true as well. You're going to settle because your brand cannot afford the hit long term. It's more expensive to repair your brand than it is to just pay somebody off to just whatever. Even if it is untrue, you're going to pay them off. That's pretty much how she's made her career, and specifically in Hollywood. So what she tried to do, clearly, with the Bill Cosby case, was pile on people. Okay, well, he won't settle for that one. Let's add one more person. Okay, let's find one more person. Let's find 2 more people. Let's find 3 more people. And if I keep piling them on, eventually he will try to stop buying because he knows exactly what this is about. That Lisa Bloom is that person that you would hire for that situation. So it's important to see the connections between the Hollywood people and how they move in politics, because it's very similar. Because money is politics. It's hand in hand. But literally, she's using the tactics she used for Bill Cosby, who, like I said, I'm not saying he's totally, I never said Bill Cosby totally innocent. I think he's innocent of that situation. I think that there was an ulterior motive in that situation. But he's a rich man, and he was really super influential. So I think we can agree that he probably at some point committed sexual harassment and sexual assault, even if he doesn't think he did. Okay? And that's the same way I feel about Trump. I think as that happens, like with him, he kind of admitted it. So yeah, there's that. But they are taking very serious allegations once again and then saying, oh, well, hey, let's make some money off of this. Let's use this against him. Let's use this to distract the people away from things that really happen or are really happening that really need to be paid attention to. Like, let's use this to take away from the fact that we really can't even do anything about impeaching him, because they can't impeach Trump. They don't have the numbers. I mean, there has been situations where there was the last 2 or 3 impeachment attempts with Bill Clinton, Nixon. No, Nixon resigned before he could do it, and then it was either Andrew Johnson or Andrew Jackson. And one of those situations with the Andrew, it was cut and dry, and they still couldn't get it. And this is Trump, who has other Republicans in the palm of his hands, because he is the only thing that is going to make sure they win their 2018 elections and 2020 re-elections. So, yeah, not happening. But they have to distract from the substantive and talk about this superficial, really fake news nonsense. Because, well, it's the only way they're going to be able to have a chance of winning. But hey, I am actually thankful. And shout out to the New York Times for doing its damn job for once. Holy shit! I forgot they were journalists in the New York Times. They're trying to reconcile all the craziness that's happened. That's probably what it is. But in all seriousness, please don't let this put a damper on your views about how real sexual assault is in this country and around the world. Because it is real. It is actually so real that's why they have the ability to make accusations like this and people flip out so quickly. Because for women, sexual assault is a very real and palpable. You know, this is like this. I mean, I can't even tell you how unsettling it is that every single woman that I know personally has experienced sexual assault. Every single one of them. Not one woman that I've talked to has not experienced sexual assault. So naturally, when you hear about the leader of your country committing sexual assault, that is how you're going to have a visceral reaction of pure emotion and anger that somebody like that could be representing you when you have a personal experience dealing with that particular situation. So That is how real it is, because she could get away with some nonsense like this. Lisa Bloom, Hillary Clinton, and David Brock, they knew they could get away with it because of how real sexual assault is in this country. And that's what makes it all the more disgraceful. Because they knew, and they know, and they use your unique experiences, your problematic experiences, for their political advantage. The same women who claim to be on your side and fighting for you. I'm pretty sure I don't have to tell y'all this, but clearly that's bullshit. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all the love, and like I said, you'll be seeing a little bit, well, really a lot more of me this year, now that I'm, not homeless and all that good stuff. So, and I can't wait. If you have not, make sure that you go check out the video I did about Cenk on YouTube, Cenk and the Justice Democrats, and whether or not they were justified in letting him go, or at least asking for his resignation. And also, I did another one about Joe Biden, and that had some some salt bay type of juice in there. You need to go look at. There's some stuff that you, whenever, because I know a lot of people, I understand, we all get a little lazy. We be like, nah, no Joe Biden. Well, why not? Because he's establishment. Well, why? Because, man, he's with Obama. He didn't, you don't really know, because you got to do some research to figure out what he did. But trust me, go to the YouTube video, go to my channel, go to the video. It's all, or you can go to my Facebook page. It's on there as well. Go to the video, look it up. There's some jewels in there. When you go into your next Joe Biden temper tantrum, like we all have to do once a day now, because they're trying to, pretend like he's this super progressive savior. It's crazy how they find the absolute most, like, moderate people they could absolutely find, and then be like, yeah, that's the progressive superstar. What a coincidence. It seems to be a pattern, right? But no, seriously, go watch that video on YouTube. Go watch the Cenk video on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Like the page. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Donate to the One Follow $1 campaign by going to Patreon. I'll put the link in the description. www.patreon.com/MikaseSukasi. Literally just $1. You join the campaign by doing $1. Shows the mainstream media that we are going to support those who support the truth. If they will not do so, and they haven't been. So now it's time for you to do your part. Thank you all so much for watching, and always remember, ladies and gentlemen, find your balance. Peace.